So we will begin now with drawing a box using the box command. Alright, so am I in 3D? Oops, I am, but I've got to go back to the home. Here's the box command. If I click down here, there's a few other ones like cylinders and some basic primitive sort of solids. By the way, I'm talking about solids here, which is different to surfaces. Okay, so you can have a box that's just made out of surface. It's basically empty inside, but this box here is solid, so we are able to get volumes out of it and work out the mass of something if we want to as well. So we'll teach you how to do that next week. So for now, I'm just going to teach you a few little commands like that so that you can understand how they all work. So if I go to box, like I can start from anywhere really. So I can say from here. Now just like you draw a rectangle, you could put in the right information. For example, if I want my, I can draw a wall out of this, for example. So if I want my wall to be 300 wide in the Y in this instance, because the Y is going to the right over here, I can go and say 5 meters long. I can go at 5,000. I'm typing that somewhere at the top there, and I think I put the wrong thing at the front. Sorry, 5,000. It already assumes the at anyway. Comma, excuse me, 300. So that's the length of the wall there. That's it, and the height I can just type it in. So if I want it to be, well, I can just click, but usually you want to know how tall you want something. So I'll make it 3,000 high, enter. By the way, how I was typing something in and it's coming up in the middle of the screen there, that's because I've got this thing DYN on. By the way, yours might not look like that. Again, we're going back to the interface here, but I didn't notice that they were in sort of English there. I think 2015 doesn't allow you to have the English words there anymore. So I might have to get used to the using the icons. But it's basically this guy here that allows you to type in there. If I turn it off, if I type, it just comes up in the command line. Okay. Speak of the command line. If you want to have it docked, you can just drag it a bit down here, and then you can make a bit more room there for it. So you can also do that. And once you've done that, you might want to go back and save your user interface over the top of the other one, so that everything will be the same if you should you lose it the next time. All right, so there you go. So now I've got an update of that. All right, so now I've got my little wall there. By the way, this little ribbon here, you can click it once, click it again, and it just reduces that to basically nothing, and then it comes back. So it gives you a bit more room. But at the end of the day, if you have it in that mode, you can still access things by just going over it like that, and they sort of pop up in there, what's supposed to be there. All right. I don't really like it that way because I just like it to be in front of me. So here we go. So we've done that. So next on our list, we have a command called PressPull. Now PressPull is a way of making holes into solids. So, but what you require is that you have something there like a sketch beforehand. So for example, I might just create a new layer here. All right, new layer, and I'll just call it sketch, and just so you can see it a bit differently, I'll make it back to the index color. I'll just make it red and go OK, and just make that current for a minute, and just close this. So if I draw a rectangle here, I'll just type in REC, or I can click this here. Now notice that when I go over that surface, it actually highlights it. See that there? If I zoom in here and I go over that, it highlights that surface. So it's going to draw. And by the way, I'm moving around this now using the Shift key and the middle mouse button, the scroller. And I can just move around my model like that. Okay. You can do it via the ViewCube as well, which I don't like using because I find it more difficult. But Shift key and the middle mouse button. So now I can come and draw on this side if I want. So get used to that because you'll be using that all the time. All right, so if I draw over here, if I just click here, it starts the window there, say. which is fine if that's where you want to put it, but that's really a bit arbitrary, and it's just sort of, yeah, it's there. How do you get it accurate? Okay, we'll talk about that a bit later. But that's the dynamic UCS. So if I just show you the PressPull command, this one here, or you can just type in PressPull if you can't find the button and press enter. So if I click here, and then I go in the middle there, it sort of senses where this thing is. And if I just zoom around now and push through, see, as I'm pushing through, it doesn't matter how far you go, as long as you come through to the other end, it'll create a hole there. But that polyline that I put there beforehand is still there. Right? Now, for demonstration purposes here, normally I like to turn the perspective off because it's easier to control when I'm showing you stuff like this. So to do that, I just type in perspective, enter, and I go 0. And it's a bit easier to zoom around, and especially when you zoom right in, it's easier to control this thing when you're doing that. Anyway, I was going to show you here, yeah, that there, if I click there, these two things come up. The reason for that is because I've got this thing here, selection cycling on, relatively new feature in AutoCAD. So say I want the polyline, for example, and I can delete it if I don't want it there, or I can move it, M for move, enter, and I can put it you know, over a bit. Now I've got to put my ortho on, F8, so I've got straight across and put it there. You can do another one like that if I want. Or you could put, obviously, you can do a polygon of about, say, 8 sides. Okay, specify the center of it. And inscribe, and I can make it, say, that big. Let me just erase that other thing for now. This one here. Enter. So now I can do PressPull. Click in here. Now it has to be basically a polygon. It has to be a closed polyline. And there you go. So it's quite easy to do that. All right. So what if I wanted to create this window at a certain location? Before I go on to that, to see if this sometimes works, should work. Control key. And I click on in here. I should be able to get to this. Ooh, Control Z. I think we just changed it. I think we changed the size. Let's go in here. Control key. Should be able to get into this thing here and move it, except I'm having a few problems with it. I might leave that. Oh, there you go. I picked that up there. See, that changes. I picked up. Look at these things. I picked up that window edge, and that just changes things around. But you have little controls like that. For example, you can use Control key and pick up that edge there, and you can just move that along. Oops. So from being what it was, now it's a different shape altogether. So you can play with the edges. Here's another edge here. I can do something here. All right. So anyhow, that's that. Now we're in trouble because it's not vertical anymore. Not that it really matters, because it probably makes the example a bit more exciting. All right, so what if I wanted to draw on this surface now? Well, yes, I can. If I've got the dynamic UCS on, which is this one here, I can go here and I can, let me just get the rectangle, which is easier. It should still sense that. See, it's sensing that face. All right, but what if I want to draw from that corner there, say 500 in, how do I do it? Probably the best way to do it is turn off this dynamic UCS and just use the UCS command, which I'm not quite sure where it is because I just type in UCS usually, but here it is. It's under View, and if we go 3 point, we can go click here. The new origin 0, 0, I suppose, will be here, and the X will still be this way, so I'll just endpoint of that, and the new Y will be on here. Alright, so I've aligned everything with that surface, basically that face. So now it's just like drawing from the top view onto there. So if I want to draw from, for example, I can draw and I can draw a rectangle, REC, from, okay, we're going to do it from, I can use any command you like. I can use the from command, for example. I can use that from command there. and from say this position, so I'm going from here. So it says all right, from the end point of that, I want to go in at 500 in the X, comma 600 in the Y. If I want to start 600 up, and it starts it right from there. And I can do a little one because, and I'll make the rectangle at 400 long by 300 high because I'm going to crash into the other one, I think. All right, so here it is. So now I can do my press pull that way, and it's going to go funny way actually because it's not a straight through thing. It's not a vertical wall. But let's just have a go and see, hey. So if I click in here and I come the other end, because we're going on an angle, that's what we got. So that's the
with their huge classes.
yeah, it's a huge class.
Huge classes.
You're photo bombing my.
Their own laptop, was it?
No, it's enough room in here. It's young Nick here. We're recording. He's photo bombed our recording. No, you're not interrupting. We're just showing them how to do a bit of a hole through the concrete. That's what we're doing. So how about that? So that's the box command using the press pull and a few other commands like that. So we've got a few others to cover. So I'll leave it there for that one, and I'll show you the others in a minute.